So Brock Purdy got 265, 100 million guaranteed. He basically got 53 million a year, which is the area I worried about. Listen, I am willing to pay quarterbacks 50 to 55 million dollars a year that lead their teams or that are the offense, not that quarterbacks that comply with it. Lamar Jackson with a great organization and a great coach. He gets hurt, Baltimore can't score. Tom Brady with Belichick. He leaves, they fall off a cliff. Jimmy Garoppolo got this roster to the Super Bowl. So my take is I like quarterbacks who initiate advantage, not benefit mostly from it. And I'm not saying he's a smart kid that doesn't move well, but it's like movie directors and movie stars in Hollywood. Spielberg and Cruise are filling the theater. Many people benefit being in their movies, and some with a lot of talent. But again, Hollywood has a bit of a salary cap, like there are budgets for movies, and there are budgets for teams. So I think Brock Purdy tends to be closer in talent to a Baker Mayfield, $35 million a year, than Josh Allen, $55 million a year. And I'm not saying Brock is the only quarterback I think's overpaid. It does appear that Trevor Lawrence is overpaid. I said it at the time. I think Dak Prescott and Tua, I didn't like those contracts. I was right on both. But, you know, the critics say, well, Justin Herbert hasn't won a playoff game either, but I think most people in the league know he can deal. So here's what the contract tells me. It tells me that Kyle Shanahan has all the power. And Kyle Shanahan's looking at that contract, and he's looking at a guy who's smart, coachable, moves well. They don't play in crappy weather where Brock Purdy's not been the same guy as he has been in more temperate weather, and he's good with it. But we all know the more you pay Tua and Dak, the less they have around him. Tua's O-line would be a lot better if he made $35 million a year. And Dak would have more weapons if he made $35 to $40 million a year. So I've said this, the Niners didn't really attack their offensive line in the offseason. Trent Williams sprains a knee or an ankle, cross your fingers he doesn't, and Brock Purdy's going to have to, once again, lead the team and initiate offense. You know, it's interesting. There's a guy that's going to get paid next, C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud went to a franchise that was a dumpster fire with a rookie head coach and a rookie coordinator and kind of a bad team and led him to the playoffs. And then last year, his top two receivers got hurt. Another receiver was in and out of the lineup. The offensive line was awful, and he led him to the playoffs again and won a playoff game. C.J. Stroud is somebody I would pay. Okay, again, he is initiating. He is overcoming. Last year, there was a great moment for people to judge Brock Purdy. He lost Christian McCaffrey. The team was banged up. How did he do? He was 1-6 against playoff teams. So again, I think a lot of people can drive this 49er car, right? Garoppolo drove it to the Super Bowl. I don't think there's a lot of quarterbacks could do what C.J. Stroud's done in Houston. Rookie coach, rookie coordinator, O-line in the tank, Tank Dell gets hurt, Stephon Diggs gets hurt, and he's won the division back-to-back. Now, you can say, well, the division isn't good. Well, Brock Purdy's best year was when Christian McCaffrey, by the way, was third in MVP voting, and the Rams and Arizona were both in rebuilds. So we'll see. I wouldn't have paid it. I would wanted a more team-friendly deal. He is now in the class of a lot of big-money quarterbacks. Some, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, C.J. Stroud next, I would have no problem paying. Others, Tua, Dak, and Purdy, I'm less comfortable. I've been right on Tua. I've been right on Dak. I think I'm right on Brock Purdy. We'll find out, but it does signify who's running the franchise. And Shanahan's like, he doesn't make a lot of mistakes. He's coachable. He moves well enough. If we can keep him healthy, the schedule is easy. I can win 11, 12 games with this guy. And you can tell by drafts who's in control of the franchise. You can tell by contracts to quarterbacks who's in control of the franchise. I mean, Mike Tomlin is controlling the Steelers. How do I know? They still don't have a quarterback. Right? There's no urgency for them at quarterback. That tells me Tomlin has all the power right now, all the juice in Pittsburgh. Okay, so I think this is really interesting. Listen, I saw this story. I think it came out like Friday. Boomer Esiason's a former NFL quarterback, with Cincinnati. I think he won an MVP. He's a morning show host at WFAN in New York. And he was talking about Caleb Williams and had some pretty harsh comments. He said the level of entitlement is breathtaking. No wonder he failed and got his coach fired. Keep your mouth shut. You're going into the greatest league there's ever been that we all love. You're going to make $500 million potentially. So just keep your pie hole shut. Go out and play football and earn respect. Well, first of all, there are no absolutes in the NFL. It is a collaborative business. Patrick Mahomes has been blown out twice in Super Bowls when he didn't have protection. So yes, this is not a star-driven league. Even Mahomes has no shot. Tom Brady's last year in New England, he didn't have a receiver or tight end that could separate. It's a collaborative business. And so I defended Caleb Williams for this reason. There are 4 things that have to work, generally speaking, for a touchdown of any length in the NFL. You got to call the right play. You can't have a penalty. You got to block it right. And the 11 guys have to execute. Almost all of them execute. The Bears for 100 years just didn't do that much simultaneously on offense. So Caleb Williams had every right, as his dad did, to be concerned about it. So when I broke this story a year ago, it's not like they were, building up a firewall. They kind of knew there was going to be heavy criticism if this came out. That's why the minute I said it, that they just weren't in love with the idea of Chicago, the next afternoon it was, oh, we can't wait. They knew the repercussions of this coming out. But if you look at since Caleb Williams has been a Chicago Bear, to me, he's been great at the podium. He's been a team guy. He said all the right stuff. So since day one, I think he's been great. So, and for the record, Boomer Esiason has been, I would say, a little political, calculated in his career. He said things in his career to defend Boomer Esiason. I'm okay with it. NFL teams leak things to protect themselves. Arizona did it with Kyler Murray's work habits. If stuff gets out, if you're trying to protect yourself, you get one shot at this, I'm okay with it. And I don't buy Boomer Esiason saying, he got Matt Eberflus fired. Matt Eberflus on Sunday road games was 0-18. He was the worst statistical head coach ever in league history on the road. If you go back to Eberflus's clock management against Detroit on Thanksgiving, the radio team says live on the air, he just got himself fired. I got nothing against Matt Eberflus. He is a story as old as time in the NFL, better position or coordinator than head coach. Not even all of Eberflus's issues are on Eberflus. I think he's a capable coordinator. But I don't buy into this, that Caleb Williams has been disruptive, that Caleb Williams has been talkative, that he has been entitled. Listen, I said this once about a president we had. It was the first president who had to deal with social media and Twitter and the vile nature of it. Caleb Williams is the first NIL superstar. He was the first college player to come into the NFL and made more than 90% of the coaching staff. The first. There is no playbook. I know Caleb, don't know his dad well. I never saw a ton of ego. There's always been a fine line between confidence and ego. But this idea that he's entitled, this idea he's been disruptive, the Bears have a 100-year history. They can't get offense right. I said this, I think, on Friday. If you were going out of college, into the job market, and there was this company that really liked you, and they had a 100-year history of not being able to get your job right, would you talk with your family about it? Would you try to figure out a way, if you didn't have an option, they could draft you? What do we do here? What are our options? Let's contact an attorney. It's okay to talk about stuff. The fact that it gets out eventually, everything does. Everything gets out eventually. But I don't think this, Colin, Caleb Williams. I know a lot of pro athletes. I don't think this is a disrespectful player. Go find, and he's had opportunities, go find the piece of audio the day he signed on with the Bears forward that is egotistical, that is arrogant. Find it. I don't think you can. And everybody's got a right to an opinion, including Boomer Esiason.